Eventually I'll maybe do this enough that everything will be figured out. But one day at a time. Alright, so what are some topics of interest this week? 1.7 seconds. I have seen a lot of numbers for people's attention span over the years and how short it is. And one that I saw this weekend was 1.7 seconds, but that was specifically related to attention to ads on mobile. So that is a very different beast than general attention span. I don't pay any attention to ads either. Twitch makes me watch them for a minute, but I don't watch them. But point being, people scroll and filter very quickly when they're on their phone, or not at all. Which, again, it's one of those somewhat obvious points. We're all guilty of it, but I think when the shoe's on the other foot, we're creating content and we're creating ads in particular. We overestimate how closely people are going to look at our ads. We can be faster. Right, I mean, as soon as I kind of see sponsored or ad, I keep scrolling, right? So, junk or interesting. Junk or interesting. Uh, that decision happens very quickly. And so if you are trying to fight through that noise, obvious point is obvious. Try to be interesting. Try to not be boring. Instantly. Instantly. This is something we've talked about it before, like with websites. Like, don't make your homepage a mystery game of what you do. Just tell people what they want to know. By all means, find an attention grabbing way of doing it, but don't make them sit there and process information on whether they want to continue, because they're not gonna. And that advice applies like 20 times more to mobile ads, right? I mean, yes, we waste a lot of time on our phone, but we waste it playing Candy Crush or reading EverQuest Wikipedia. We're not wasting our time looking at ads we don't care about. Right. So, let's see. You sometimes listen to sponsor spots in YouTube videos. Sure, that makes sense. That's one way that companies can get a little more attention than, say, a Facebook feed ad. If you're watching the content of someone that you actually are interested in, their sponsors might be actually interesting to you. I'm curious to hear what Technology Connections did on that. To Premium allows you to skip past baked in ads, which is good. Get past ads to get back to the content I came for, so I don't break my attention on the thing I wanted to devote my attention to. Yeah, exactly. Like, people sometimes use these statistics to say don't bother with long form content. But that is super not true. Long form content, if it's good, people are gonna read it and watch it. But if it's not good, then it's like nobody's gonna read it. I mean, this all sounds very obvious. Because the actual tricky part is what is good and what is not good, and what is interesting, what is not interesting. And that depends on your audience, right? What I find interesting might be similar to what you guys find interesting, but it's not going to be the same as what, my neighbors find interesting, or, an older generation or younger generation. So you really have to know your audience, and you really have to be willing to find a way to talk to them in a way that's interesting and gets their attention. Again, what gets my attention? Dragons. If I see a dragon, I'm gonna look. But other people, it's gonna be something different. Sponsor spot started with a progress bar showing up. That's a cute idea. Started interacting with a progress bar. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes it a really kind of fun game and a bit that's, more engaging. People also use these stats to say, look at how terrible humanity is now, no one pays attention, when they're measuring the worst thing for people to pay attention to. Advertising agencies write that down. I like that. Can I put that on LinkedIn? Because it's so true. It's like, yeah, people are. Okay. In the case of what you're saying, in the case of this statistic, is it people have shorter attention spans, or is it people are better at filtering out this is crap and I don't want to look at it? And making those really quick decisions. Oh, is that the video of which you were speaking? I will watch that later. Yeah, exactly. There are plenty of ways that humanity is terrible, and plenty of ways that our attention span has been compromised. But if you give people something interesting, they're going to pay attention to it. Anyway. Second item, which is the one that actually makes me sad, is Google is phasing out the Q&A section of the Google Business Profile. Now, it makes me sad. Probably most people in the world, they won't notice right away. But for me, and for what I do, helping local businesses, optimizing Google Business Profiles, there are so many cool features that small businesses underutilize. And the FAQ, or the Q&A, sorry, that's what they call it. The Q&A is one of the things that you could optimize and, show your expertise and get a lot of attention from Google. And it was free, right? All you had to do was go in and put in a bunch of questions and answers. Now, sadly, Google is getting rid of that. Extra sad, Google is replacing it so that in Maps there will be some sort of feature for people to ask questions, and Google just writes its own answer for it, because AI. That makes me very sad, because AI doesn't help small businesses. People think it does. People think that it is a great leveler. Yeah, you might have to be a mod to share a link. So, or the mods might be able to give you permission. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Russ. Anyway, so I hear a lot of people saying, you know, oh, can't AI write that for you? Can't AI do this for you? How can AI help you save time as a small business owner? And those are good questions to think about. But the reality is, as with so many things in marketing, the advantage is still to the bigger guy, because they have the time and the resources to train AI to do what they actually need it to do, to train it to write the copy in the right voice, to make sure you have the time to go back and proofread it, etc., etc. Personally, I think the time it would take you to train AI to write for you is not worth it. But I'm a writer, so I don't, like, it is not a burden for me. For someone for whom it is quite a burden, yeah, maybe the time investment to train AI to write for you would be worth it. But you also need the right strategy. You can train AI to sound like you, but maybe you're not actually the best voice to sell your product. Maybe what your customer needs to hear is something else. And you don't know that. You are just thinking, if I create 20 more blog posts, I will get more business. But if they are all crappy, then people will not pay attention to them. See point 1 about attention span. So all that is to say, you need a marketing strategy. You need to understand your customer, because AI can only produce what it thinks should be heard, which if you don't know, then you can't correct it. So the fact that Google is replacing something that you could be in charge of with AI means essentially we're going back to, you need a really strong website, and you need really strong authorities talking about your business, which requires a lot of time and money. So, goodbye. All right, let's see what else. Yeah, so Punch raises the point, this also strikes me as a method to control who you do and don't frequent as business. Yep. Hey, absolutely. AI will be trained by Google and or by customer reviews, Reddit, maybe, where to push traffic. It will also answer questions about your business for you, which, as discussed, accuracy may not be the priority. So businesses really need to be ahead of the curve right now because this is going to set a lot of businesses back. Biscuit manufacturer. There's no substitute for quality. I think it applies here. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. People are in slop phase, and I don't know, part of me is like we're moving out of it. People are getting tired of AI, people are recognizing it's slop, etc., etc. But I still hear business owners telling other business owners to use AI and to do stuff for them. And I'm like, why? Why would you do that? Granted, I live in small town rural Minnesota, so it's going to be about 20 steps behind, cutting edge multinational corporation. Um, but yeah, I don't, I don't think it's good. But you already know that. Alright, I can't even remember what my third item is. So, human focused. Okay. Okay, yeah. So, this is just to wrap up this entire thought together. Good writing is about others, not you. So, when thinking about mobile ads, when thinking about how AI and Google write about your business, you have to make sure you're thinking about your customers. People really like talking about themselves. And I mean, you have to do that too. You have to establish your authority. You have to establish um, your experience, the fact that you're trustworthy, credible, all those kinds of things. So it's not that you don't matter in this equation, you being the business, the marketer, the content creator. But the business or product or service that you're offering is ultimately about somebody else, not about you, and about helping them and not you. So we all need to stay oriented around that. But how long before the AI is retrained when you update something? It can happen pretty quickly. Um, I mean, obviously not retrained in the sense of LLM model, but AI robots do crawl regularly. And like I know there's one of my clients uses Wix and they have a panel that shows when the robots were last crawled to a site, and they're there every couple days. Um, so it can happen. It can absolutely happen. And the more information, the better. Business owners are still paying exorbitant rates for culture correcting seminars to people who have no other job. They may not be terribly bright, merely ambitious. Yeah. It's. They are in a difficult spot, in as much as. Well, on the one hand, just be a good person. Is that so hard? Yes. Okay. But second of all, the younger generations more and more want businesses to show their values. And so if you're not by nature a very value driven person, then that's an issue. Yeah, that's a good question. I'd have to probably research that more. And there probably are ways that you could push information to AI. Google Business Profile is GBP, sorry. And I don't think they're taking away your ability to update your hours. Well, you really shouldn't be updating your phone number a lot. They're not taking away that, just the frequently asked questions about your business. So the kinds of services that you offer, um, prices, things like that. Does it cost you money to update things? It depends on what you mean. So, Google Business Profiles are free. Updating those are free. That is why they were so great for small businesses. AI and your website to crawl you, there are things that you can do that usually require money. Oh, right, the pound. uh, yeah. Yeah, so right now, anyway, maybe it will get to the point where Google will take away your ability to update anything. But right now, it's just the Q&A that's being taken away. The hours, the address, photos, updates, posts, those things, as far as I know, are all still active. So the other features that businesses have still exist. So, any other questions? I guess pretty much it this week. Just remembering that other people exist and matter. And that if you can keep that straight, then everything else will hopefully fall in line. But it is going to be hard. AI is going to make things worse before it gets better. But we'll see. There's a big I mean, there's always all these big AI conferences. And there's a guy that I just connected with on LinkedIn who's trying to do, ethical Christian AI. And I'm like, okay, what does this mean? What is this? I mean, I'm game. Because there are, of course, um, aspects of automation and whatnot that are very, very convenient. So I'll be curious to see, you know, what his team does. I'll be curious to see what Pope Leo comes out with. The rumor mill there is that his first encyclical is going to be about AI. So it'll be curious. I'm interested in what he's gonna see. If they merely give you the tool to let AI write it for you, that's your choice. That would be less bad, but I'd rather write it myself, right? Plugging an Ethernet cable into a Bible. Uh, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the Old Testament stuff might get us all in trouble. have to wash a lot more. uh, it would certainly make for interesting AI, though. Alright. Well, we'll see what's happening next week. Thank you all for hanging out. I hope you have a good week. I should be around Friday on Punch's channel, hopefully, with Type 0, and then Pi Skyrim next weekend. And, yeah. Keep being awesome. Bye.